This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. All right, so the news came in earlier today that the Browns have traded Josh Dobbs. They got they gave up a 7th round pick. They got back a 5th round pick, which is notably the pick that they spent on DTR. And this move means that DTR is going to be the backup. And what's interesting about this, right, because I talk about it all the time. Sometimes the preseason evaluations can be difficult to get any meat out of, but I did feel differently about DTR because the situation he was juxtaposed with was just different than a lot of other young quarterbacks, where you're not talking about a bona fide, certified backup being there that a rookie quarterback is trying to supplant. We're talking about Josh Dobbs, who is trying to get to the point to where he's a certifiable backup, where he has that experience, like seasons of experience, right? You look at somebody like Case Keenum, you look at somebody like Jacoby Brissett, those are certified backups. Josh Dobbs is somebody who's been trying to become a certified backup, and he's going to get the opportunity to get some playing time in Arizona. So this trade makes a bunch of sense for him. And for the Browns, I think it makes a bunch of sense for the Cleveland Browns, because I think DTR was your second best quarterback on the roster. So one, if you're the Browns, if you're a Browns fan, no matter who you root for on the team specifically, this is a overall good thing, because this tells you that we aren't the only ones high on DTR, that people who are watching the preseason aren't the only ones that are high on DTR. The coaches are high on DTR. The people who have the access to watch practice film, all 22 practice film, all 22 joint practice film, feel really good about what they saw from DTR. And I thought it was interesting the steps they took to get here, right? You go to the Hall of Fame game, he plays in the 4th quarter, you kind of expect him to play and be in that situation. He does well. You get to the second preseason game, you're playing Deshaun Watson, so you're not going to start him, but you know, hey, let's go to DTR first after that. Notably, Josh Dobbs played in that second preseason game too. Then you went to DTR. DTR played well in that second preseason game. He gets his 3rd preseason game, and I thought it was important to put him in against some fringe starters to see, hey, where are his weaknesses going to pop up against NFL talent, and where are his weaknesses not really a problem versus NFL talent. They did that, and apparently they liked what they saw, and maybe a combination of them not loving what they've seen from Josh Dobbs. I know Jake Burns, who was at camp for a couple of days, talks about he didn't really love what he saw from Dobbs in the preseason or at practice, that it's been a little bit of a rough go about with him. So I say all of this to say that there's something there with DTR. Now, how much is there? I don't know. Obviously, there's no real path for DTR to ever really become the starter for the Cleveland Browns. If everything goes well for the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson will be the quarterback here for probably the next at least 5 to 8 years. That's the dream for the Browns, and they're not going to be able to hold DTR on the roster if he is a starting caliber player for 5 to 8 years. Hell, we don't even know what Jordan Love is, and the Green Bay wasn't even able to hold on to him that long before they had to finally make a choice. So given that Deshaun's not the age that Aaron Rodgers was when Jordan Love got drafted, the Browns aren't going to be in that situation. So this is about what you can get from DTR. And it's extremely valuable that they found out that DTR could be the backup quarterback for this team this early, because now you get an advantage of having 4 years of having a backup at low cost for Deshaun Watson, somebody you feel comfortable if Deshaun goes down, you can build an offense around and win a couple of games. I think that that's great for the Cleveland Browns, especially for what they want to achieve right now. For DTR, I think this is really good for him because he's going to be able to get those number 2 reps. He's going to be able to get a ton of practice in with the twos this week, next week, and during the rest of the season. I think this is going to be good for his development. And the better he plays and the opportunities that he gets to play, the more excited people will be about him. You know, it's interesting with a dude like DTR, because if you follow college football, you've heard this name for a while. He was kind of a freshman sensation, had a little bit of an up and down run there at UCLA. And I think he's a perfect example of a quarterback who did not benefit from the system he was in college. And in some ways, I'm sure DTR will come here and tell us how he benefited from the Chip Kelly system. I don't think it was a net negative for him. But if you look at his skill set and what he eventually developed into, I don't think that that was the best offense for him to be in, is that Chip Kelly style offense where it's tempo, 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 quick screen, quick screen, quick screen. You know, it's more about speed and how fast you can get the ball off rather than how well you could play in the pocket. And I think that didn't benefit him because people kind of looked at him in a different way, right? People looked at him more as an experimental quarterback, an athletic quarterback, instead of somebody more along the lines of, you know, your pro-ready guys, right? He's more like Kenny Pickett than he's like Deshaun Watson when it comes to his play style. Because Deshaun is a plus athlete. Deshaun is a plus hard to take down guy in the pocket. Deshaun has plus arm strength. Those are not things that DTR has. DTR is a really good athlete, runs a 4.5. I think Kenny Pickett ran something similar. Really good in the pocket, really good decision maker, right? He's kind of more in that vein. But since he was in that Chip Kelly offense, we think of guys like Dennis Dixon and other guys who came up in that Chip Kelly offense. And that's what we always kind of compare DTR to. And I think that led his evaluation to be seen through the wrong lens. And it led evaluators to focus on the things that are wrong with him instead of the things that were right with him, because the offense didn't give him the right opportunity to get right there. So I'm extremely happy for DTR to have worked this hard and have gotten this opportunity. I hope that there were no Hard Knocks cameras in the coach's office, and I hope that Kevin Stefanski did not congratulate him on winning the backup position. That's a old throwback to Hugh Jackson doing that to Baker Mayfield. But in all seriousness, this is a really good thing for the Cleveland Browns. This tells you that DTR is headed in the right direction. What's up? All right. Hold on, let me finish this video out real quick. This lets you know that DTR is headed in the right direction, that, you know, the planning with the offense is going well, and that the Browns feel pretty good about where it's going with him. You also get a backup for cheap for 4 years, maybe 3 years, if you get extreme value of him proposed in the trade. And I know since it's Cleveland, we can't look at quarterbacks playing well without looking at it through the lens of controversy, right? Because we're so used to quarterback controversies here in Cleveland. But I implore people to look at this more like Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley. Right now, Tyler Huntley shouldn't have made the Pro Bowl. We kind of all know that. But when it comes to if Lamar has to miss a game, Tyler Huntley is one of the better backups in the NFL. We know how expensive that is when you have to sign somebody who's that quality of a backup, right? Jacoby Brissett is not cheap. That's a $7 million player, right? You know, even like a Case Keenum or whatever premium backup you can look at or look for, those guys aren't cheap. Now you have somebody who could play and be a premium backup for you, and you don't have to pay that premium of a price. And who knows, DTR might not just be a premium backup. He might be somebody who could start for a team in the right situation. And if you have that as your backup, that gives you another layer of armor that can get you through the season. And again, football seasons are wars of attrition. It's a long season. It's a physical season. People are going to get hurt during the season, and things happen, right? The issue I had with any evaluation of Baker Mayfield was it seemed like nothing could go wrong with him. And when nothing can go wrong with your quarterback, you have a recipe for a disappointing season, because something's always going to go wrong in the NFL. Well, with the Browns this year, things will go wrong. Knock on wood. I hope nothing goes wrong, but things will go wrong. Something will not go right. And you're going to need to have the ability to win despite that. You're going to need that armor to get you through the rest of the season, right? Okay, this guy's not going to play. We got Ronnie McLeod in the secondary if we lose the safety, right? We got that for a game. Maybe you lose a linebacker. Okay, Diabite, you're going to be in there, right? You lose an edge rusher. Okay, Obo, show me what you could do as a starter at the edge position. We're going to plug you in there, right? It's back to that analogy I have. When you pop a tire while you're driving, you have 3 levels of preparedness. You could be the person with the jack and a spare tire in your trunk. That means, hey, 20 minutes, pop that tire on, we're back rolling like nothing ever happened. You could be the guy with the donut in the car, right? Where you got the donut in there, you pop that on, and then you can drive to a tire shop and then eventually get that problem fixed, but you're good for the immediate time being. Or you could be the person who might have a can of Fix-A-Flat in the trunk, and then, you know, the tire pops. You don't know what to do with that, right? You're just kind of stuck there on the side of the road. Or maybe you got your phone charged. Who knows? But, you know, you're just not in a good situation. For the longest time, the Cleveland Browns have been the team with the Fix-A-Flat in the trunk. No level of preparedness if something goes wrong. If everything goes right, oh, man, on paper, this team could be great. But if something goes wrong, one thing here or there, or Baker and Odell don't get along, this and that, boom, whole thing's destroyed. And we sit here in January and pick up all the pieces and wonder how we got here. Well, this is a good sign in the right direction, right? The fact that the young players are playing so well that the Browns can give up on some veteran players or trade some veteran players for some value. This is a really, really good sign. I know a lot of people, and I think this is unfairly so, criticize Andrew Berry for his ability to draft, but I think he's done an excellent job. You look at some of the young talent on this team, and I think given the fact that he's had the least amount of first-round picks that any GM has had here in Cleveland since coming back in 1999, and the fact that the roster looks like it does, that tells you he's a tremendous GM. So that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better one.